Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Hummelstown. My name is Kylie Daimler. I am the owner and operator of the 1762 here at the Old Warwick Hotel. First and foremost, I just want to thank everybody for being here. Very specifically, Mr. Tom Mahaffey, where's he at? Right here. Mayor Roding, obviously, and our entire borough council is here, I believe, most of them. We cannot do what we do without them, so thank you so much for being here. Secretary Siger, and he is the Community and Economic Development, okay, and obviously Governor Josh Shapiro. So a round of applause for Mr. Shapiro for being here.
Thank you.
It's really an honor to actually be here. I'm actually born and raised Hummelstown, so this is really cool for me. I left as an 18-year-old girl, just wanting to kind of like facilitate my own roots, and it's such an amazing town. I'm very, very proud to have established myself, and I have come back to plant my roots here. So I graduated from Lower Dauphin. My family lives here. My kids go to school here, so this is really awesome for us. With the initiative to have Governor Shapiro come in and his colleagues, we're trying to shine some light on Hummelstown and why we believe that Hummelstown is a wonderful, wonderful space to bring a little bit of help. When you have a community that has all these different people that actually care about what's going on, especially for me as a child, you feel safe. You feel like you have a place where you can, grow up, and it's just such an awesome town. So with that being said, I think Governor Shapiro and I have very many similarities. We both invest in towns, and it's not just the town themselves, it's the people. My husband and I were invested in 3 towns right down the line. We're basically the governor's neighbor from Harrisburg.
There you go.
So it's really, really important for us to put out our voices as community members to say, hey, this is what we need and this is why we need it. Not to say that other communities in the area aren't, valued in regards to that, but it's just really, really important that we shine light on what's important in our town. These gentlemen all have to make really, really tough decisions. So we understand that of the 200 some towns maybe that you visited, maybe Hummelstown's not on that map, but we are a town of people that care. And we are a town that takes what we have and what we've collected and we put out to our local communities. There are 5 elementary schools in Lower Dauphin. There are people that drive 20 minutes to have their kids come to school here. And this is their main hub. And it's really, really important for people to understand like the downtown plan. It's not just about a restaurant. It's not just about one in particular business. It's all these people that are joined as a community that do what we do and what makes it really, really important for us to put our voices out there. Hummelstown itself, built and founded, it was Frederickstown, Hummelstown 1762. That's the only reason why we named our restaurant that. That's how deeply rooted this is. Chief Hess, I don't know where he is. He's here somewhere. I've known him since a kid. And, him and I are still here. We're still a part of this community. This is how deeply rooted that we are. Just to have the governor here and his colleagues to shine some light on this town is it's so amazing. And it's very, very humbling for us. And we really appreciate it very, very much. Yes, we appreciate it very, very much. In a general sense, I do believe that we have to have a better understanding of where we're going if we know where we're coming from. So having like deeply rooted community is important. And these gentlemen that maybe don't know all of us as well, which there's a lot of Hummelstown community members here, they just don't know us as well. So as long as we can talk to them and kind of put that out there, like what we need and what we're looking for, we can help other communities in our general area, even if it's just not Hummelstown. When you have a town that cares, you feel safe and then you start to expand, you start to grow. You can help others as well. And that is our mission. Like I said, my husband and I, we own another location in Palmyra. We're invested in Hershey. This is just another part of me. It's a little bit different for me. It hits home. So thank you so much for coming today. Next up is Mr. Tom Happy.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Good job. Thank you.
Thanks, Kylie. Great job. And it is wonderful to be here. I am State Representative Tom Happy, and I have the pleasure and the distinct honor of representing the 106th District. Not only am I a state rep, but I'm a 31-year business owner. So what the governor has put forth right now means so much to me too, because I know how hard it is to start a business and keep that business running for 31 years. It is extremely hard now more than ever, and we have to invest as a government and get that right. And I think your initiative is doing that, and we can get this done in this year's budget. Thank you, Governor, for that. But we are truly in the hidden jewel of the 106th District, Hummelstown. We got the opportunity to see some of it.
Yeah.
I'd love to take you through all of it, but I can tell you there are so many small businesses throughout this whole community. Every corner has somebody that's a family-owned business that's been here for a very long time and has done such great things. So we need to continue to support them. When I say that things changed after the pandemic would probably be an understatement. That is something that retailers, especially getting people to work for you, doing the things we need to do, the price of inflation, the cost of doing business has just escalated to points where it's very hard for someone to start a business or keep going in business. So we want to continue to push this. Again, why the governor's initiative is so important. But I will tell you this, as a local government guy, as someone who works deeply close with the county and now as your state representative, this is not just a state initiative. This has to be an initiative not only for the businesses, but our small government. Our county and small governments need to make sure that they're investing in these businesses so we can make this work. Governor, I can't say thank you enough for everything that you do. You've been in this district quite a few times, which I really appreciate, but we know how important it is. And I get to represent the sweetest place on earth, but part of that is right here in Hummelstown. Thank you for everything that Borough Council and everybody does. It is so important. Now, it is my honor and privilege to introduce not only the mayor of Hummelstown, but my dear friend, Mayor Dave Roding.
Well, thank you very much, Representative. Appreciate that. As he said, I'm Mayor Roding, and I welcome all to Hummelstown, especially our esteemed guest, Governor Shapiro. So thank you for coming down today. The Governor's Main Street Matters initiative is an investment, and that's important. It's in small towns, small businesses that has the potential in making a large difference in a community. A community's health starts with their downtown businesses, and Hummelstown is fortunate to have restaurants, retail stores, and our professionals to include doctors, lawyers, and an auto repair shop that's just a block off the square. These businesses provide quality jobs and spurs interest for those and others to buy and invest in homes here in the borough. All should see the benefits forthcoming when we invest in and have successful businesses in small communities such as Hummelstown. So now if you would join me, I don't want to take up too much time, I know everybody's running late. First off though, I have some t-shirts. Governor, one for you.
Cool. Thank you.
Secretary, one for you.
Awesome.
But I do have, the honor of
That's cool.
welcoming DCED Secretary Rick Siger.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks, Mayor.
Thanks.
Secretary.
Thanks, Mayor. Appreciate it. All right. Well, thanks so much. Hello, everyone. It's really great to be here in Hummelstown alongside the governor and these terrific leaders and business owners, and have the opportunity to highlight a major investment we're talking about and that the governor's proposed for communities all across Pennsylvania, just like this one. You know, nestled between Harrisburg and Hershey, we've talked about it, but this is really one of the great community main streets in central Pennsylvania. And it's really a perfect place to talk about the governor's new Main Street Matters program. You know, the two of us and our colleagues, we've been traveling all across Pennsylvania, visiting main streets of all shapes and sizes this spring. We've seen bustling metropolitan consumer districts like Fishtown in Philadelphia and smaller Main Street corridors like Honesdale in Northeast PA. But no matter where we go or how unique each main street is, they all have a few things in common. They're places where businesses and people want to be, places where people want to live, where friends and families want to visit and stay. Main streets are what people think of when you talk about a place. They're community hubs for people to gather, and they're economic engines that fuel local and regional growth. That's why main streets are so important. And when you add this regional growth together for main streets all across Pennsylvania, suddenly you have a critical and major driver for both quality of life and our economy for all of Pennsylvania. The governor and I understand that we have to support main streets. That's our vision, but the reality of our tools that we have now is that they're not really scaled properly to make the kind of impact we believe our communities deserve. It's going to take a commitment to real investment. And that's why the governor is calling for $25 million in his budget for a new program called Main Street Matters, nearly 4 times larger than what we have in place today in competitive funding for main streets. Main Street Matters will build on the success of existing programs while adding scale and flexibility to support the modern needs of our regions. And it will allow us to be better equipped to support major community projects, including anchor buildings and larger developments in communities just like Hummelstown. This $25 million program for Main Street Matters is an investment that regions across Pennsylvania need to compete, and that frankly, towns like this deserve. Our goal and the result of these investments is a higher quality of life for our citizens, growing businesses and thriving communities. And really, that's our mission at DCED, one that our team takes very seriously. I'm proud to stand with the governor in calling for this investment, and I just had an absolutely terrific tour of Hummelstown. And it is now my really distinct honor to introduce Governor Josh Shapiro to the stage. Governor.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. And let me thank Secretary Siger for his incredibly strong leadership all across Pennsylvania. And for me, man, it is a special treat to be here today in Hummelstown. And Kylie, let me begin by building on something that you said. You had commented that I've had the good fortune as governor to visit hundreds of towns across Pennsylvania. And you said that you acknowledged we got, difficult choices to make every day. And you were just hoping and wondering if Hummelstown was even on the map. Let me tell you, Hummelstown is on the map. And it is main streets like this that fuel our communities, that show signs of strength in our communities. And it is main streets like this that deserve our investment. I love walking up and down main streets, and I loved my time here in Hummelstown today. I got to tell you, Toys on the Square is unbelievable. And I say that as a father of 4 kids. It is truly amazing. And what Mama makes, I want you to know that I had a smoothie there, so that was my fruit for the day. And I plan to have carrot cake later, so that's my vegetable. So I want to be clear that I'm dieting on Hummelstown today as I make my way through Pennsylvania. And then, of course, here at 1762, just the incredible history that goes on here. And I highlight those 3 places because any successful main street has to have like one of those destination spots you go to. And literally, as I was walking out of the toy store, we bumped into a family getting out of their minivan who had just come from Kentucky. And they were on their way to an amusement park here in Pennsylvania. They looked online, they heard about the toy store, and they went because they knew that was a destination place. And listen, you also got to make sure you get great food when you're on a main street. Mama's was awesome. I'm sure the other places are too. And then, of course, you got to have some history when you show up. You got to have a great meal, and maybe one day we'll also have a place that you can stay when you're here in Hummelstown, and we'll refurbish that inn and that lodge. You got to have that. You also got to salute the great women and men that work in these places, who care deeply not just about their storefronts and their stores and the products that they sell, but they care deeply about the success of everybody here along Main Street. That they love their towns the way Kylie does, the way she can talk about growing up here and how she's putting so much of her blood and sweat and equity into this community as well. Pretty cool to be able to see the traffic being stopped by your chief who grew up here along the way. And Chief, we thank you and all of the women and men of law enforcement who do work every day to keep us safe. We appreciate you very, very much. And it's communities like this that, let's be frank, have too oftentimes been forgotten when you ultimately have to make those tough decisions when it comes to a budget. I'm here to tell you that that will no longer be the case so long as I'm your governor. We believe in Main Streets. Main Streets matter. And that's why I'm proposing this historic investment in Main Streets all across Pennsylvania. As you heard Secretary Siger reference before, we want to invest $25 million in our Main Streets. And let me be clear what we're for and what we're not looking to do. We're not looking to reach into a small town in Pennsylvania and tell you the way it should be. Rather, we want to learn from a great mayor and a great council and a wonderful borough manager and the business owners and hear from you what is necessary, hear from you what you need. And what is clear to me from my time here in Hummelstown is y'all got it together. Council, working with the mayor, working with business owners, hell, working with Miss Hummelstown right here. Everybody working together in order to move this community forward. And it is our job at the state level to invest in places like this so you can be the best that you can be, so that you can see the fruits of your labor. And I must say, I used to be a local government official. I know that the power the state can have when they invest and believe in your mission. And I also know that sometimes they can meddle too much. Well, we're out of the meddling business, so we're in the investment business. And we're excited to see what's happening here in Hummelstown. Now, over the next few weeks, Democrats and Republicans alike are going to work together to make sure we get this across the finish line, that we get other priorities across the finish line. And I couldn't be more grateful to be joined today by an incredible lawmaker and someone who is common sense, someone who, like me, lives by 3 letters, GSD. And since we're in a nice town, I'll just say it stands for Get Stuff Done. That's what we're focused on every day. And that is Representative Tom Mahaffey. Tom understands the power of working together, the power of reaching across party lines to get things done. You know, I'm the only governor in the entire country, literally the only one with a divided legislature. The House led by Democrats, the Senate led by Republicans. For us to get anything done, we've got to bring Democrats and Republicans together. We need both of them to vote for it. You know what else we need to do? We need to compromise. And I know in our polarized national politics today, the word compromise can often be viewed through a negative prism. Well, I think compromise is the lifeblood of progress. That's how you move things forward. And let me tell you, I don't know exactly how things are going to turn out over the next few weeks in terms of each and every line item. But here's what I know to be a point of fact. Everyone is going to have to compromise, and no one's going to get everything they want. But if we bring that attitude into these discussions, we continue to have that attitude in these discussions, we're going to make real progress for communities like Hummelstown and others across Pennsylvania. As Representative Mahaffey knows, today in Pennsylvania, we are sitting on a $14 billion budget surplus. $14 billion of your money that's squirreled away in some account, bank account in Harrisburg. Well, to me, that's not an effective use of taxpayer dollars. What's more effective is to make smart, common sense, bipartisan investments. That's why I want to invest more in our public schools. That's why I want to invest more in public safety. And that's why I want to invest more in economic development. And when I think about economic development, sure, I think about our big towns like Philly and Pittsburgh. Yeah, I think about our office parks in suburban Pennsylvania, for sure. But I also think about main streets like this. And we can't shortchange a main street like this. We've got to make these investments. Now, as I said before, the lawmakers are going to meet. They're going to compromise. We're all going to compromise. And I'm going to give a little. They're going to give a little. And so I know my entire budget proposal won't be the final product. But just follow me on this for a second. If my budget were to pass as is, just for argument's sake, we would invest in public education, invest in public safety, invest in economic development. We would cut taxes, not raise them. And we would still have an $11 billion surplus when all is said and done. Why do I share that with you? Because now is a moment to invest again in Pennsylvania. Now is a moment to believe in places like this and put our dollars into places like this. Now is a time to show what we really value. And I'll tell you what I value. I value main streets. I value small towns in Pennsylvania. I value places like Hummelstown And I believe it's places like this that are the engine of our economy in Pennsylvania. And it's communities like this that too oftentimes have been forgotten in the past. And I'm here to tell you, I not only don't forget you, I believe in you, and we're here to invest in you. So thank you for welcoming me to the streets of Hummelstown. I learned a lot while I was here today. I'm going to take these lessons back to us, not just only as we craft a budget, but as we make policy going forward in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So Mayor, Council, thank you for having me. Secretary Siger, thank you for your leadership. Kylie, thank you for being an amazing small businesswoman and really inspiring so many others along here. And to my buddy, Representative Mahaffey, thank you for your strong leadership here in what I know he says is the sweetest district on earth. So thank you all very much. And with that, Kylie's agreed to take all the questions from the media. So fire away.
Governor, obviously the Main Street Matters is one relatively small part of your budget. Is there any one program in the budget that you wouldn't, if it isn't in there, you're not going to go forward? What has to be in there?
No, listen, we're all working together, Democrat and Republican alike. We all have our priorities. I was clear on my priorities 4 months ago when I laid out my budget. Lawmakers are now expressing their priorities, and we're going to do exactly what I said before, Zach, which is to compromise, find that common ground, and we'll get this done.
Governor, these are from Dennis. From the beginning
You tell Dennis, I'm going to give him a mulligan for not being here today, and I'll answer his questions, but never again will I answer his questions if he doesn't show up. And tell him I was smiling when I said that. All right, go ahead.
From the beginning of Pennsylvania budgets, it took about until the year 2000 to get $20 billion. That's more than 200 years. This year, 24 years later, we're requesting $48 billion. That's more than double. What would you say to critics who say the state spending is too much too quickly?
Our budget is balanced, and our budget cuts taxes. It doesn't raise them. And our budget is sustained over 5-year projections, which is required of the governor to present. I would also note that we have a $14 billion budget surplus. That means that over time, the Commonwealth has taken $14 billion from taxpayers, more than they needed. That's why I want to cut taxes to return some of that money to them and make investments in the areas that I think we see a lot of common ground in education, both K-12 and higher education, in public safety. We all believe in safe communities, and in economic development, from our main streets to our life sciences sector to manufacturing to agriculture and many other things. Now's the time to invest in Pennsylvania. Listen, we are falling behind, and now's the moment where we got to invest. We've got, the court said, an unconstitutional education system. We're 49th in the nation in higher ed. We're losing economic development projects to other states because we're not investing enough. Now's the time to invest if we want to compete and win. And I'll tell you what, as your governor, I am competitive as hell. I want to win every time. I want us to be number one every time. We are the birthplace of this nation, and we should think of ourselves as leaders in this nation. And for too long, we've been falling behind because people had a small-minded view on things. They were playing small ball. I'm ready to play championship ball. That's what we got to play in Pennsylvania. And to do that, we got to invest. All right? Thank you all very much. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay. Nursing homes are raising red flags saying that state reimbursements are...
Dennis gets 2 questions for not showing up. Okay. Yeah. Will you remember that and tell him that?
I got more.
Nursing homes are raising red flags saying that state reimbursements are not matching what is costing them to take care of residents like patients. Further, they say that they're being required to increase staffing levels and spend even more money out there to probably be reimbursed. Many say that some have closed at time that the VA population is aging rapidly. What is your message to the providers regarding your administration's?
I've proposed significant increases in my budget for older Pennsylvanians. The lawmakers are now considering those significant increases for older Pennsylvanians. And I'm open to a conversation about increasing reimbursement rates as well. I need to hear more from lawmakers where they stand on that. Remember, this is a process where you've got to have lawmakers working together with the governor. I've been really transparent about what my objectives are. I laid them out 4 months ago. At some point, lawmakers need to get together, find out what their priorities are, and send me those bills to sign. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it. Thank you. Appreciate you joining us.